Are you tired of feeling overlooked and underestimated? Hi, I'm Tammy North, the Introverted Executives Coach. If you're an introverted executive or you're ready to rise to senior leadership, but you're struggling to be seen as a high potential, this podcast is for you. If you're listening to this podcast, I know you already do have initiative, but this episode is not about the everyday run-of-the-mill initiative. You only get so much energy every day, so I want you to use it well. This episode will focus on the best way for you to use your initiative so that you'll get noticed in a positive light and that so your senior leadership begins to see you as high potential for executive positions. To be successful in any workplace, one of the most important attributes you need to have is initiative. This quality will set you apart from others and will show senior leadership that you're willing to go above and beyond. But what is initiative exactly? And how can you display it so that both your direct supervisor and the most senior level of your organization notices you? I don't know if you've ever thought about this, so I want to point it out, that it is possible to take initiative in ways that nobody around you needs or even notices. It's possible to spend hours or days working on something that nobody needs or even really cares about. And I think that this is one of the possible reasons that if you've been hustling behind the scenes and you feel like you're killing it, but nobody seems to notice, that you might be in this situation. So in this episode today, this is exactly what we're going to zoom in on. Initiative is the ability to see what needs to be done and then to take the action to do it. It's about being proactive and not waiting for somebody else to tell you what to do. I talk about this all the time when I say things such as, there you are, a circle of friends talking at work, and then everybody's complaining about something. That one thing that somebody needs to do. Well, who is somebody? Somebody is the person who takes initiative. Somebody is the person. So anytime you hear that word, somebody or someone should do something, there's an opportunity right there. Of course, it makes perfect sense that initiative is so crucial in the workplace. Initiative, when it's executed in a focused way, often leads to positive outcomes for both you and your company. It's taking charge of the situation and not waiting for somebody else to do it. So I believe that some of the challenge is realizing where the best opportunities are to start using your energy on the efforts that are going to make that big impact for your customers and so that leadership notices. How do you find things that need to be done? The things that nobody else is already doing? How do you find the things that are going to make a difference to the executive team? For those of you who get my weekly newsletter, I recommended a book in it a few weeks ago titled Impact Players by Liz Wiseman. That book is the perfect complement to this episode. In it, she talks about just this problem. How do you find these chances to lean in and to take the initiative? So picture this. You heard about some strategic changes that are coming to your organization, and you start to assume they're going to downsize your division, and they're going to probably take your star performers so they can go lead other strategic priorities in the command. So you start to worry and you feel like you're being threatened. Well, try this instead. In the book, Impact Players by Liz Wiseman, she says, you should reframe threats as opportunities. You can use cognitive reframing to help you see the opportunity in an otherwise threatening situation. Cognitive reframing is a psychological technique where you identify, challenge, and change the way a situation is viewed. Anytime you decide you're going to change deeply ingrained beliefs, especially when fear is involved, it may require some deep work and the help of a coach or a therapist. With practice, reframing situations can become as simple as changing filters on a photo you took on your iPhone. Liz Wiseman says you should use these 4 steps to help you reframe threats as opportunities. 1 is to recognize ambiguity. It's the ambiguity where some of these opportunities lie. Watch for these situations that are fraught with uncertainty and difficulty. And this is where impact players tend to think and respond completely different from everybody else. Anytime they see a messy problem, something unclear, an unclear role, an undefined swim lanes, unforeseen obstacles, moving targets, and unrelenting burdens. All of these are signals to pause and see if you are feeling threatened or if you are seeing the opportunity. The second step, she says, is to then check your lens. Pay attention to your thoughts and reactions, let's say when there's a messy problem that's arrived. Check for the signs that you're looking at the situation through a threat lens or through a opportunity lens. If it's a threat lens, you're probably thinking that something is going to impact you, that things aren't going to go well. If you're looking through a threat lens, you're probably concerned primarily with the downsides of the risk rather than the upside of the possibility. When you're thinking about the negative things about this messy problem here, do you find yourself pulling inward or looking outward? Do you believe that you lack ability, power, or resources, and that's what you're focused on, rather than seeing that you actually do have a lot of capability and resources that are inherent in both you and your team? If you notice you're looking through the threat lens and you're only focused on the downside, then this is your opportunity to reframe the situation. Consider what the situation would look like if you looked at it through an opportunity lens. Identify the situation that currently feels very threatening to you and ask, how would an impact player see this as an opportunity to add value? Is there some chance here that I could add value rather than be afraid? How can this have a positive impact on my own goals? What capabilities and resources can I tap into to navigate all of this ambiguity? And that's when you replace this messy problem and look through it with an opportunity lens. Now you're thinking, what would I do differently? What if this is an opportunity? As you look through the opportunity lens, what beliefs do you see? What behaviors naturally flow? What is possible? Reframing uncertainty as opportunity will help you act more boldly, but sometimes just simply reframing the situation might not be enough. There's often risky portions when you decide to lean in on a messy problem. So there is some work you can do to take the risk out of those situations, but changing your response to situations beyond your control begins with how you view and interpret stressful situations. Changing your perspective and your lens will allow you to see clearly and to take the right path. Let's talk about a few ways that you can go demonstrate initiative at work. And one thing I want you always to make sure of when you decide to take something on, that you can clearly see that this is something that matters to the stated objectives, the strategic objectives, that you're in line with what your organization would want you to do. And that if you've been listening to your own leadership and there's the way that they've been signaling, you understand that there's some things that they care about very specifically. And if you can find some of these challenges that are in line with their messaging, then that is golden. So one way is to look for ways to improve your job or your own department. Initiative is all about being proactive and looking for opportunities to improve your own area. It shows that you're motivated and that you desire to make things better. One way to do this is to look for ways to streamline processes, process improvement, create efficiencies, all of that. If you can find ways to make your own department run more smoothly, senior leadership will notice. Another way to show initiative is to develop new ideas that could benefit the company as a whole. If you have an idea for a product or a service, then speak up. Senior leaders want to hear from their employees, and they are more likely to take action on an idea that comes from within their own company. The third way is to be a problem solver. Initiative is all about solving problems. If you see a problem in your department or your company, then come up with a solution. This shows that you're resourceful and you can think on your feet. It also shows that you care about the company and you want to see it succeed. Number 4, be a team player. Initiative isn't just about working independently, it's also about being a team player and collaborating with others. If you can show that you're a team player and you're willing to help other people solve common goals that they have, then you can stand out from the crowd. One of the beautiful things is if you help other people solve their problems, they're more likely to help you solve your problems. And it's all about that abundance mindset, which is going forward, understanding that there is room for multiple people to rise. It isn't just you or them. All of you can rise over time. Another way to show initiative is to take on additional projects or responsibilities. If you see a project that needs to be done, then volunteer to do it. This shows you're willing to go above and beyond your regular job duties, and it also shows that you're eager to learn new things and take on new challenges. All of these are great ways to demonstrate initiative at work, so start thinking about ways that you can take the initiative. Get good at recognizing the opportunities and start making a difference. So one more nugget from the Impact Player book by Liz Wiseman. She had some tips for elevating your contribution once you do take the initiative. Her tips are ways to help other people see the impact of the contribution that you made. One is you can kind of provide for your information, an FYI. Let other people know what you've done to make their work easier. Don't overdo the details. You just kind of let them know they don't need to worry about that anymore because you got it under control. Another way is to add a surprise. Do more than is expected of you. People will take notice. Innovate and share. Improve a process, and then share that innovation with your colleagues or group. Your work will be recognized, and your colleagues will benefit too because you made their life easier. Another thing you can do is share the evidence of your success. Periodically share the compliments and kudos you receive, or if any of your customers or collaborators share it, then that's even better. But simply let people know what you've done, not with self-promotion, but just with the plain facts. Another thing you can do is build champions. This is back to that working together to solve hard problems. Build mutually supportive relationships with your peers and your stakeholders. Champion each other's success and talk each other up to your shared stakeholders. I have a situation in my world where this is happening and has been happening for a long time. I have a network of about 20 ladies who are doing some pretty amazing things with the Navy. And the cool thing about this particular group is that they are always giving each other compliments. I see them everywhere celebrating each other. And when I get the opportunity, I celebrate them. They don't need to because I'm plenty fine in my situation, but they celebrate me as well. And we all just celebrate each other. And it's one of the best things that has ever happened. I love it. And it's pure joy. It's pure joy to see it. Always keep in mind that when you're trying to help other people notice your contribution, that you promote the work, not yourself. Separate your sense of self from your work at every opportunity you get. You're worthy just the way you are. And the reason you're doing the work you're doing is because you care about the work. So promote the work, not yourself. That will also make it a little more comfortable to share what you're doing, and then later on to hear that all the success that you've had. I read in the Harvard Business Review this article titled "When to Take Initiative at Work and When Not to" by Sharon K. Parker and Ying Wang. In this article, they discuss the importance of your idea and that you need to ensure that when you're taking initiative, that it actually does align with organizational goals. They said, if an idea doesn't align with your key strategy or the larger mission of your organization, it is very possible it'll be a waste of time and resources. And so to demonstrate this, I wrote about a hypothetical scenario, one that is kind of normal in workplaces. So Ivan, the head of a new product development, attended a networking event, and he learned that open floor plans are trending. So he was very excited, and he came back to his organization and he persuaded his boss to remodel an entire floor of the building. This was done at significant cost. But unfortunately, many of the staff didn't like the new layout. They didn't like the noise and the distractions. So a lot of the people applied to be relocated to different floors. So if Ivan had paid more attention to the tasks that his staff carries out day to day and the work that requires high levels of concentration and focus, he could have designed a better floor plan. That's just an example, but I see it every day that I know that there are people that are working very hard in many different ways across my organization and other organizations. And sometimes all of the energy they're spending, and every now and then I see somebody who spends a lot of energy for very little gain. And it's frustrating because I know that they're doing it for a purpose. I know that they really care about what they're doing, but that's kind of the importance. And trust me, I've done it before too, where I've spent a bunch of energy on something that nobody really cared about. And that's never a good feeling. So just make sure that as you take initiative in your organization and across your industry, that you're doing it in a way that'll make a big impact. Really put some thought into it. And then when you're about to say yes, I do want you to say yes to some things. I want you to volunteer to take on more, but I want you to do it in a very focused way, a way that will make the biggest difference for you, your customers, and your organization. So now you know some of the best ways to show initiative at work in a way that will really matter. I want you to put your knowledge into practice. Remember, always aim to stand out from the rest by taking action and being proactive. I'd love to hear your secret in showing initiative in a way that gets positive attention. Let me know. You can connect with me at Introverted Executive on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you're ready for executive coaching to help you achieve your biggest career goals, subscribe to my weekly Rise and Shine newsletter. There, you'll find out when my program opens for new clients, and you'll also receive weekly tips and activities to continue to make a bigger impact in your own powerful way. You'll find all the information and links down in the show notes. See you next week.